All right, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to the Community Conversation brought to you by Prototype Training Systems, home of CrossFit Prototype. The Community Conversation highlights a different member of the Prototype community each week and allows them to tell their story, share their life experiences, and communicate their perspective on all things fitness. We've all listened to podcasts and watched YouTube videos that highlight some of the world's greatest leaders and visionaries, and these people also walk amongst us. We believe we have some amazing people at Prototype, and we want to let you get to know them. So to that end, I want to introduce you to our first guest, Colin Lake. Colin's been a part of Prototype community for almost 6 years, avid triathlete, endurance enthusiast, entrepreneur, family man, and just overall one of the best people that I know. So Colin, thank you for being part of the community conversation.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me, Mike. And I put that that compliment right back on you. You're one of the great guys that I know. Truly, good people.
Thank you.
I mean it. hmm
So the good part about this is, we get to just hang out for a period of time, just shoot the shit, and then people get to watch us. So, a lot of people know you in the community, and you've been here for a while, but not everyone knows like your story or your background. So why don't you just give us a little bit of understanding of who Colin Lake is?
All right. So I grow up in Philadelphia. I'm the youngest of 9 kids. And so we all had, a bit of um, like a balance that we all had to work through. You didn't always get what you wanted and when you wanted. We all had to pitch in a lot around the house. We all had to work for all of the things that we had. I helped pay for my high school tuition, and certainly I paid about 90% of my college tuition. And all of those things set me up for where I am today. So I grow up down in Philadelphia, move up here in 95, end of 95, early 96. I moved up to Massachusetts. I joined the financial services industry and have been in the financial service industry ever since. So in 2015, had success at different levels. And in 2015, the company that I was a part of was a partnership, and the firm was bought, and that enabled me to live out like a lifelong dream of being an entrepreneur, and in particular getting involved in the charitable entrepreneurial space. So I launched a charity called Developing the Next Leaders, which takes people who are exiting the military and looking to make a successful entrance into the financial services industry. And so we build this glide path for those folks to get there into the industry, get there in a well-trained way, and ultimately make the impact that they are potentially able to make, and in other words, become the next leaders of the industry. I also do a lot of consulting and coaching in the financial services industry, and broader than that, but a lot of the coaching and consulting I do is in that industry. And they're the types of things that keep me real busy from a professional perspective. I do have 3 kids, 16, 14, and 12-year-olds, all going to local Catholic schools around the Westboro area, and happily married. Have been so for 20 years. And then, as Mike mentioned, I do love to do triathlons, and anything endurance related really interests me and excites me. Anything that's like complex in terms of the training process is something that interests me. And like I would have never been that interested in a gym. The gym was only there to to help me do some stuff to support my running, swimming, and biking. And all of a sudden, 6 years ago or 6.5 years ago, I stumble into Prototype, and I'm like, whoa, this is really, really cool. And got to meet you, and I'm like, this dude's really, really cool. And got to meet the people in the community. I'm like, wow, this is really something that I need to get more involved with. And here we are today talking.
I love it. I want to talk more fitness, but I also want to talk about developing the next leaders, because I know you and I have talked about that a lot. I know that you've been doing that for a while now, and it's just incredible. I'd love you to talk about like the motivation, like what got you motivated to start that. Obviously we know your background in financial services, but to give back and to create something so wonderful. I mean, it's funny because pre-COVID, we'd be at the gym and people would just be bringing in suits and just stuff and clothing and stuff. I'm like, what the heck is going on here? And it was all for you. And I was like, Colin doesn't need suits, but obviously, not for you, it's for the organization. So talk a little bit about the motivation and the people you've impacted.
Yep. Thank you. Thank you for the platform to talk about it, because I love to talk about it. So the first thing is we're fully self-funded. I have funded everything to this point, and I hope to keep it that way. But what we do take is donations of gently used suits, ties, briefcases, belts, business casual clothing, and we offer that to people, the ex-military looking to make a successful entrance into the financial service industry. We look to help them with maybe getting dressed a little bit better than they would have otherwise. And so that is one of the things that we do allow for donations from a clothing perspective, and then from some of those accessories like I said, belts and ties and briefcases and that type of stuff. But anyway, so I'm going to give you a really, really brief story on a really, really long, drawn out process. So all the financial services industry are trying to hire more ex-military. And in my view, they do it almost as like a glamour statistic. And they like to say, hey, look how many ex-military we hired. We're doing great for the community. We're great Americans. And what they don't tell you is they don't do a very good job at training them once they get there. And so what happens is they get the job, first job, in many cases, their first job entering the public space, or I guess the private space is better there. They're working in private financial services companies. And so they make their first foray into their professional lives outside of the military. And, on average, they're washing out of that firm that they start with in anywhere between like 13 to 15 months, depending on the firm. And because the way these financial services firms have operated for 50 years or 100 years, they think that's the right way to operate going forward. And the path or the process they take people through is we run a lot of people up the hill, and only a few people ultimately can make it up to the top. And they're the people that we try and keep around at our firm. In other words, we throw a bunch of people in the training class. We'll see who can swim. Whoever can swim, we'll keep. Whoever can't, we'll let go away. And that doesn't necessarily work for these people. They don't have all of the 101 and all the one-on-one basic training that they need to like digest the information at the financial services industry. They may not have a college education. So we try and provide them all that baseline information, all that 101 training, so that when they get there, they can take in the information. It makes sense to them. And then, like I say, they can ultimately make the impact that they should be making for our industry, who needs its next leaders.
And I know you and I love talking leadership. So I do want to talk about that a little bit. But I mean, when you're talking about financial services, you're talking about like, financial advisors, or what's the scope of the industry? All financial services, or is there a particular like component of the industry that you're helping a lot of these men and women get involved in?
So I have taken, there's been 86 people who have come through the program. And so we've had way more than that who have been involved in the program, but 86 have come fully through the program, meaning they came in the program, number one. Number two, they did all of the homework required, because we do take them through a process. Maybe they took some of the clothing from us, and then ultimately we got them placed somewhere. So they like went through our entire pipeline of how we help folks. And so for those people, they have started with, a smaller firm is like 2 or 3 different financial advisors. And those financial advisors are looking for a junior advisor to learn the business under them and build. Okay, so we've done that. But most of the work we do, Mike, is at like the larger institutions like a Merrill Lynch or a Bank of America, a Morgan Stanley, a UBS, like a lot of these global banks. And by the way, we don't take any money from any of the military, as I said, and we don't take any money from these large firms. We're not looking for that. We're looking to, again, put them in a position to succeed and make a positive impact in that industry.
I love it. I love it. So I'm glad we got to talk about that, because I know a lot of people at the gym probably have no idea, well, Prototype in general, excuse me, have no idea about this charity. So sounds like there's, if there are people out there listening to this, and I'm sure like want to help you out or donate or whatnot, what's the best way for them to do that call?
Well, the best way, my favorite way is to talk to me. I love to talk to everyone everyone at the gym. I don't know everyone at the gym, but the more people I know, the more fun it is. And then I have an email address, which I'll share in a bit, and I think that's probably a good way. And I also want on Facebook. I'm in Facebook groups, and so you can private message me there as well. But my email is Colin Lake, so it's one L COLINLAKE at, and it's the 4 words, developingthenextleaders.com. And so if you email me there and just say, hey, I'd like to get involved, maybe I have a set of skills that can help these people get trained better. I'd love to talk about that. We have clothing we'd like to contribute. That'd be great. Or most importantly, we're always looking for people who were military and looking to enter. Those people who, if you have some of those people in your own network who are looking to enter the industry, we'd love to work with them.
Yeah, and if you're listening, you can always reach out to me too, and I can connect you directly with Colin. And I also know, Colin, a lot of people on this are probably interested in the next thing that I want to talk about a little bit, and that is leadership. I know you love to talk about. I love talking about it with you. Give me, give, I guess, the audience, if people listening to this, kind of like your background in leadership, and also kind of like your mindset around it and how you approach it, because you've been a mentor to me, but I know you've mentored a lot of other people in this department. And like I said, I like a lot of people listening to this probably can get a lot of good information from you. So, any points or any pointers or information around that, that'd be great.
Yes, maybe the coolest thing that I have learned, I'm not even going to say like specifically like the last 3 years, is all human beings. Now I'll talk specifically to sales human beings because that's who, the leadership's training that I do and I deliver, and they're the people that I work with as salespeople. And then, like I said, salespeople in the financial services industry. But people are well intentioned. Like, people would like to work out the appropriate amount of time. People would like to, do the appropriate amount of pre-work to get ready for a workout, and post-work to recover properly from a workout. And that's the same thing in their professional lives too. Like, people would like to be more effective with their time at work. People would like to stop getting stop chasing shiny objects. You know what I mean? Like, this, so people are well intentioned. And so one of the great things in leadership is, like, so just identify those 1 or 2 things, maybe 3 things that you're after, right? Like, so like you make that list, and that's nothing brand new, but what are those things that are right below those priority items? So like let's say you have 3 things that are your core activities that you need to do to be really successful in your job. And then what are those next, like, 7 things? So there's 10 things that are really important. The top 3 are the ones that I'm asking about. But what are those next 7 things? Because those next 7 things are those shiny objects that allow you to creatively avoid those 3 most important things.
Mhm.
And so the takeaway would be, from a leadership perspective, is like, the thing that I try and coach on, and the thing that I think we all ought to take, is we are well intentioned. We just have to identify what those 3 most important things are, and know what the shiny objects are that may disrupt us from staying focused on our top 3, and avoid those ones at like all cost, or like as much as we possibly can, because they will distract us from what's most important in our lives.
Yeah, and it's so hard, and it's such a great piece of advice because it's so applicable. The shiny object syndrome or phenomenon, or whatever you want to call it, it's the same thing in the fitness side of things, right? Like, you want to start exercising, losing weight, whatever your intentions are, or goals, or the habits you want to develop, but then all of a sudden you see, a commercial for some sort of like fix it quick pill or diet pill or something that kind of draws your attention away from the habits you're looking to build. Same thing can happen. And you've been probably one of the most dedicated in terms of your personal fitness or in health, and just committed to it. Let's talk a little bit about that, because people see you at the gym. If you could work out for 3 straight hours, do the workout over again three or 4 more times, you probably would. Not everyone's necessarily like that. But let's talk a little bit about like how important fitness has been in your life, and like why that you've made it such a priority.
Um, so I do love to work out, and you know, I'll give you, I'll start with this analogy. Sometimes someone will be showing you or like suggesting like, here's a new app, and this app is so easy, like even I can figure it out. Like that's the way people describe apps or software or something like that. Have you ever heard that before, Mike?
Oh yeah. Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
right. Like people say that. Yeah. And so um I always say when they say that is like, just because you can do it doesn't mean I can too. Like I'm a neophyte when it comes to technology, right? Like sometimes I think that way. Okay, so how that translates or how that parallels to the question is, um, I love to work out, and I love to work out in like a, consistent long term way, and I even have a little bit of like, the harder the workout and the longer the workout, I feel like the better the workout and the
Mhm.
more fun the workout. And I do think that. So my wiring is a little bit different than many others. Okay, so that aside, because I have to answer the question as it relates to all of us, because not everyone at Prototype loves to work out or loves to work out, for long times.
Mhm.
Um, so the, the the two things that I would say how it impacts my life is, first one is I am like in the most literal sense a better human being when I work out.
Mhm.
I feel like in every other part of my life, like my faith, my family, my business, with my friends, I am better when I have like that clear mind, because I know I put in a really, really effective workout or workout day or workout week.
Mhm.
So I really feel like it helps me gain like such a balance. Um, that's one. Two is I also gain a lot of motivation from it. And so
Mhm.
like I get a lot from the workout. Like I want to look good. I want clothes to look good on me. I want things to fit me right. Like all those little things. And so the thing that I'd ask people to take away is like I'm grateful that I get to work out. Like I'm grateful the Prototype is there and puts together like some kick butt workouts that really make me stronger, fitter, feel better, more balanced. Like, and so that idea of like that grateful mentality
Mhm.
allows the workouts to like sit in my brain a little bit different. And as a result of them sitting in my brain a little bit different, it enables me to get to that gym with a smile on my face saying, all right, come on, CrossFit, dial up something big and nasty for us today. And if you guys will let me, I'll do it 2 or 3 times.
I think you've texted me more times than anyone else on a Friday night saying, "Is that it for Saturday morning? Like, can we make it longer?" Yeah, you're so funny.
Mm.
Carl, I love the information and just insight you've given on leadership, talking a little bit about developing next leaders. I think people are really going to appreciate that, like learn a little bit something from you. The intention behind this is to just for people to get to know you, and also to share your experiences. And you've given some good insight into how exercise and just working out in general has impacted your life. I got three final questions for you before we hop off. I know I could probably talk to you for another hour here, but
I
I'm
love
going to
when we
ask you
do.
three questions real quick. Favorite movie or TV show, favorite music artist or music you like to listen to, and then favorite thing you like to do when you're not working out, not working, or with your family. So something that you like to do just by yourself. Nothing derogatory when our kids are gonna be watching this.
All right, so favorite movie. I mean, I'd love to offer one of the funny ones because I'm such like a like the Will Farrell, Vince Vaughn, Owen Wilson. I'm like such in that. I love that whole genre of movies. But Shawshank Redemption is my favorite movie.
Great movie.
I think it's the best movie of all time, and I love it for like a multitude of reasons. And so, okay, so that's the answer to that one. And then second is the music I listen to. I'm like a grunge guy, so that'll give you, tell everyone how old I am. Like that, like 90. I take that back. Like yeah, like
90s
92 to
grunge. Yeah.
96.
It's a
Yeah, like
very short
that.
era of music.
Yeah, I love that type of music. That's my favorite type of music. And then the third thing would be, this is an easy one, is taking my family on trips.
Uh-huh.
Like I love when the five of us travel somewhere. And I have a very close relationship with my 8 brothers and sisters, and we all do a vacation every year. I love that, but I like the one when it's just the five of us and we're off on an island somewhere, or we're doing something just the five of us, because it requires all of us to kind of deal with each other and laugh at each other and have fun with each other and have a memorable experience with the 5 of us, family.
A family man, true at heart. I love it. Well, yeah, thank you, Colin, again for being part of the community conversation. It obviously means so much to me and Prototype, and also you guys listening. Thank you for tuning in and watching. Remember, every week we're going to be releasing a new community conversation with a new guest to get your week started. So to be the first to know about these new community conversations, they're posted on our YouTube page. So feel free to subscribe. Also join our daily brief newsletter. And these videos are also going to be posted in our Prototype community members only group on Facebook. If you're listening and you're a member and for some reason you're not in the group, please reach out and we'll get you in. And then lastly, if you're interested in being on the community conversation, just shoot us a message and we would love to have you. So until next time, Colin, again, thank you, my man. And I will be talking to you soon.
Thanks, Mike.